going to be looking at some of the formulas for Excel. And the first formulas we're going to look at are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So for addition, it's very simple. We're going to click on cell E3 and you're going to click equals, and then the first number you want to add, and plus the second number, and hit enter. There you have that. Then for subtraction, we're going to do equals first number minus second number, hit enter. And we're going to do multiplication, which is equals first number, and then you're going to press the start key, second number, hit enter. And finally, for division, you click equals first number slash second number, and you're going to hit enter. Now we're going to look at some real world examples. First example, you're going to enter a formula in cell F4 that will multiply the unit price and tax rate in cell D1. You're going to click in cell F4, you hit equals unit price multiplied by the tax rate, which is cell D1. And if you want, since we have to multiply all of the unit prices for different products by the same cell, you're going to click before the D here with the dollar sign, and then between D and $1 and that's going to lock that cell, and we're going to hit enter, and there you have that. And then for the second example, I'm going to go to Avery's ice cream shop. And how can we enter a formula that multiplies the value in quarter 1 by the projected quarter 2 increase? It's the same thing, but with multiplication. We're just doing multiplication. Same thing, you're just going to lock the second cell. So we're going to do equals. Our first value is going to be B4, start key, and then the quarter 2 increase. Going to be this percentage here, so cell B14. And to lock it, and the dollar sign before the B and after the B, and you're going to hit enter, and then we're going to drag this to filling the rest of the values. We're going to be looking at summary functions, and the first one is the sum function. So we're going to click equals sum and click that. And we're going to highlight the values that we want to sum and hit enter. For the second one, we're going to do average. So equals average. You have it. And again, you're just going to highlight those values. Now we're going to use, so we want to know what's the minimum value between these three that we're given. So we're going to do equals, and then there you go. And highlight the values again. And we're going to do the same with the max. Then we're going to use the count function, and you're going to see something here. We do equals count, and we highlight all three. Only going to get 2 because this cell is blank, and this is only going to count. Also, if it was like a name, where if it was letters, a word anywhere, it wouldn't count it because it only counts numbers if you use the count function. Now, if you want to count words, we use the count A function. Count A. And then if we want to count blanks, use count blank. And we highlight again, and you're going to get 1. Now we're going to look at a real world example for this one. So the first thing we are going to do is use the sum function, and we're going to do that for the weight of the exams. So we're going to click here, equals sum. We're going to highlight these values that we want to add and hit enter, and we have 100%. Now we're going to do average, and we're only going to be doing it for exam 1. You're going to click equals average, and I'm going to highlight all of these values that we want to get the average for and hit enter. And then we're going to do minimum and maximum to know what's the range between the grades. So we're going to do equals and the same. It's going to be B17 the way to B52, and hit enter. And then for this one, I'm going to do max 17 B52. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to use the count function. We're going to be doing it here. So if I want to see, say, how many students showed up for the first exam, you do count. Then we're going to do B17, B52, and enter. We have 36 students showed up for the first exam. Now if I want to see, let's use count A, which you remember it was for, I said words. But if I try to use the count function for this numbers, for example, for the student ID, it wouldn't work because it has dashes also. So for that, I have to use the count A. We're going to do equals count A, and we're going to do A17 to A52. We have 36 also. And then here, we're going to use another count function. Let's do equals count of B17 to B52. And then, actually, I'm going to use count F. Sorry about that. And that's a range. And then our criteria, it's going to be for students that got a higher grade than 80. And now we're going to close that. Yep. And then we're going to use count blank to see which students did not show up for the final. We're going to do equals count blank. And for this range, we're going to be using, oh, not that one, sorry. We're going to be using E17 to E52. And then we're going to press enter. And 3 students did not show up for their final. Functions, we're going to be looking at text functions. And the first one's going to be the concat formula. So we're going to use that to put like 2 texts together. We're going to do equals concat. And then we're going to do our first text. And we're going to do our third text here. And hit enter. And that's going to add those 2. And now we're going to use the upper function, and that's going to turn everything into capital letters. We're going to do equals upper, and let's do Paris, and enter. Then you want to do left and right functions. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to give you either the first 3 on the left, first 3 letters on the left or on the right. So you're going to do equals left. And actually, we're going to use Toronto. And actually, you can pick how many letters you want. If you only want 2, you can just do 2. But if you wanted to do 3 or 4, then it's going to give you the values, the number of values, the number of letters that you want, either in the left or the right. So same thing for right, the Dallas, and I'm going to do the first 3 also. I'm going to hit enter, and you have that. Now we're going to look at the examples. This is the first one. So we're going to do a company email, and I usually like to do this one. We're going to use the concat function. I like to do this with this formula builder because it's easier. So you're going to do concat, and then your first text, you're going to do the first name, and then for your second text, we're going to do at Avery's ice cream .ca and close it, and you're gonna hit, and it's gonna tell you here what it's gonna look like. You're gonna do done, and that's gonna fill it in for all the other cells as well. And we can close this, and we're gonna look at the challenging example. And it says, how can I modify the formula in the city code column so that the letters appear in uppercase? And that's really simple, actually. You can just click on the cell, and there's already a formula there to have the first 3 letters on the left. So we're going to click here in front of the L, and you're going to enter upper, got it, and then it already has a parenthesis there, so we just add another parenthesis at the end, and you hit enter, and that's going to change all of your values. Alright, so we're going to do our last set of functions, which is going to be conditional formulas, and we're going to start with the if function. I'm going to click equals if, and we're going to say that the conditional, the logical test is that if this number is more than 40, then do a comma, and say it's a bestseller, and then for the volume false, we can either do open quotation marks, which is just going to leave it blank, or we could do not a bestseller. Let's do not a bestseller, and hit enter. And as you can see, since this value is less than 40, it's not giving you the bestseller result. Now we're going to do the sum if function. You're going to equal sum if, and this function is in case you want to add something, some values, if there is a condition met. So let's say we want to do this range, and then for the criteria, we want it to be a blue shirt, and then for the sum range, it's going to be different. The price, I'm going to do this column. So here we're looking in this range for blue shirt, and if it is blue shirt, then we would add the price for it. Now we hit enter. There you have it. So as you can see, it's going to add this value and this value, which is 80.53, as you can see down here. Now we're going to use the average if. And hit equals average if. And this is similar to sum if. So we're going to use this range, and then we're going to do the criteria for red shirt, and then the average range, we want it to be the prices, and we click enter. Now we need to do count if. We're going to do equals count if, and our range is going to be this one here, and our criteria is going to be blue shirt, and we're going to click enter, and it's going to give you how many blue shirts we have. We're going to do the example. So for this, the first thing we are going to do is we want to see the average of the students that get a grade more than 80. I'm going to do equals average if, and then my range is going to be this one here, way to 352, and my criteria is we're doing more than 80, you have to put quotation marks. More than 80, close the quotation marks. And then since the average range is going to be the same, you don't have to put anything there. But you could if you wanted. It's just going to be this same column here. It's columns here. I'm sorry, cells here that we have at the beginning. And then I hit enter. Perfect. And then we're going to do the average for less than 70. So equals average if, and my range is B17 to B52. My criteria, that is less than 70. Close and hit enter. And then we're going to do count for more than 70. And do equals count if, same range, B17 to B52. And then my criteria is that it has to be more than 70. And hit enter. And there you have those.